All right, everybody, welcome back. This is episode number 9 of my 10th season. Today is Wednesday, November 1st, 2023. My name is Sonal Patel, and this is the Paint the Medical Picture podcast series. Now, you might be wondering why my voice sounds a bit funny. Why am I whispering? Well, I just can't be left out of all the Halloween fun, right? Just because Halloween was yesterday and my podcast happens to drop the next day, I simply had to join in the fun. So today's episode is a bonus episode, something just a little bit fun, a little bit different than my norm. Now, of course, I'm going to be adding some of my medical coding into today's Boo episode as well. So I hope you all cozy up and enjoy. I'm remembering my very favorite Scary Stories book from Tales for the Midnight Hour, full of short stories that kept me wanting to read more. One story is infamous and has changed over time, depending on the author. My favorite author is J.B. Stamper, and the most sinister, in my opinion. And it's called The Black Velvet Ribbon. There was one room in the house that the old man always kept locked. Things had not changed in that room for years. A soft layer of dust had settled on the furniture and on the thing that lay on the floor beside the bed. The old man had been a bachelor most of his life. When he was 40 years old, he had met her, the girl with the black velvet ribbon. She was beautiful in a strange, mysterious way. Her hair and her deep, bottomless eyes were as black as the velvet ribbon around her neck. He planned to marry her before the next full moon rose in the autumn sky. On their wedding, he watched her walk towards him up the long aisle. She was dressed in a white gown, a white veil, and carried a bouquet of white flowers. Even her face was ivory white, but below it, around the ivory neck, was the black velvet ribbon. He remembered staring at that ribbon as the strains of the wedding march brought his bride nearer to him. He remembered the curious and shocked looks on the faces of the wedding guests, but then his eyes met hers, and he was drowning in their bottomless darkness. He didn't think of the velvet ribbon during the rest of his wedding day. It was a joyous time, and if people thought his wife was a bit strange, they kept that to themselves. That night, when they were alone, he saw that the ribbon was still there, still circling her lovely neck. "Don't you ever take the ribbon off from around your neck?" he asked, hoping his question was a needless one. "You'll be sorry if I do," his wife answered, "so I won't." Her answer disturbed him, but he did not question her further. There was plenty of time for her to change her ways. Their life together fell into a pleasant pattern. They were happy, as most newly married couples are. He found her to be a perfect wife. Well, nearly perfect. Although she had a great number of dresses and wore a different one every day, she never changed the black velvet ribbon. This ribbon began to be the test of their marriage. When he looked at her, his eyes would inevitably fall to her neck. When he kissed her, he could feel the ribbon tightening around his own throat. "Won't you please take that ribbon from around your neck?" he asked her, time and time again. "You'll be sorry if I do, so I won't." This was always her answer. At first it teased him. Then it began to grate on his nerves. Now it was beginning to infuriate him. "You'll be sorry if I do. You'll be sorry if I do." One day he tried to pull the ribbon off after she had repeated her answer like a mechanical doll. It wouldn't come loose from her neck. He realized then for the first time that the ribbon had no beginning and no end. It circled her neck like a band of steel. He had drawn back from her in disgust that day. Things weren't the same with them after that. At the breakfast table, the black ribbon seemed to mock him as he drank his suddenly bitter coffee. In the afternoon, outside, the ribbon made a funeral out of the sunlight. But it was at night when it bothered him the most. He knew he could live with it no longer. "Either take that ribbon off or I will," he said one night to his wife of only 4 weeks. "You'll be sorry if I do, so I won't." She smiled at him and then fell off to sleep. But he did not sleep. He lay there, staring at the hated ribbon. He had meant what he had said. If she would not take off the ribbon, he would. As she lay sleeping and unsuspecting, he crept out of the bed over to her sewing box. He had seen a small, sharp pair of scissors she kept there. It was thin enough, he knew, to slip between the velvet ribbon and her soft neck. Gripping the scissors in his trembling hands, he walked softly back to the bed. He came up to where she lay and stood over her. Her head was thrown back on the pillow, and her throat with the black velvet ribbon around it rose, ever so slightly, with her breathing. He bent down, and with one swift movement, he forced the thin blade of the scissors under the ribbon. Then, with a quick, triumphant snip, he severed the ribbon that had come between them. The black velvet ribbon fell away from his wife's neck. Her head rolled off the bed and landed on the floor with a thump. She was muttering, "You'll be sorry, you'll be sorry." Oh my goodness, that was as spine-chilling as I remember. I hope you guys got a kick out of it as well, right? Post-Halloween. I know it's just the day after, but in the spirit of the day and of the night that still lingers on, I had to give it a shot. Now, the biggest takeaways with this short story reading was that if this were documented somehow in a medical record, and the sheer horror of actually being the certified medical coder, coding the last scene with X99.9. And like all the other medical records being reviewed and coded this week, post-Halloween, you know there are so many other accidents being reported by the night schools and goblins finding themselves in the ER. Or are they? Like after being poisoned by Eye of Newt and Witch's Brew with T62.8X1A. Like hearing the cackles of those same 3 witches and seeing them fly across the room on barely their brooms with R44.0 and R44.1. Or like the night ghouls and goblins found with human bites with Y04.1XXA. And of course, all of these ghastly nocturnal events have occurred in creepy old houses with Y92.89. And finally, let's keep to the macabre. Let's stick to a quote from one of the best in this genre, Edgar Allan Poe. "The death of a beautiful woman is unquestionably the most poetical topic in the world." Oh my goodness, that is definitely giving me the chills. Now, all right, you guys, I really hope you enjoyed this very, very fun episode. For me, I know I definitely got a lot of kicks out of creating it, so I hope you guys enjoyed listening to it as well. Now, I just wanted to give you a friendly reminder that you still have a few more days to use my discount code of PAINT10 until November 4th, 2023 for this really incredible opportunity to get 21 CEUs in the weekend of November 11th through the 12th, where I will be speaking with my very good friend, Kimberly Jolivet Williams, at her 2023 Virtual Business of Healthcare Colloquium. So you guys make sure that you get your tickets to this event, and I will provide you the details in my show notes. Now, all right, you guys, I hope you have an incredible start to a brand new month. I can't believe it's already November. Thank you guys so much for listening in on today's very special Boo episode, where it's true, providers can paint even the darkest masterpieces. See you next Wednesday.